So if you've ever been a kid before, and you know what, we've all been kids before. So when you were a kid, more than likely, like 99.99% of the people that are watching this video, they cheated. And so you would have cheated on your test or your homework, or maybe you weren't even a kid. Maybe you did this when you were in college or university, and you cheated on your exams. And when you cheat, yes, you get good grades and you feel really good at first. But after a while, you realize that cheating doesn't really help you that much, because while you get a good grade and while you passed your exams, if you cheated, you don't actually know this stuff. So you're cheating and you're getting good grades, but you don't actually know anything because you're not really learning anything, and there lies the problem. Now, if you get used to cheating, like on exams at school, then you're probably gonna try to cheat in other areas of your life. And so, for example, if you wanna be financially free, then you're going to try to cheat the process to become financially free. However, unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that, and here you've got to put the work in. Now, here's something else that you can do, which is kind of like cheating, and it's copying, but it's not the same thing. And so, for example, when I wanted to get my credit up, I could have tried to learn everything on my own and do everything on my own, and then hopefully I would get my credit score up by trial and error. But instead of doing all that stuff by myself, I chose to simply just follow some of the people who had good credit, and all I was gonna do is copy what they did. Now, copying doesn't necessarily have to be bad, because instead of copying what people do or just simply copying what they're doing, you're copying their habits. So for example, people with a good credit score generally don't impulsively just get new credit cards or apply for any loans impulsively. They actually have a plan on how they're going to be using their credit. And so I copied the habits of people that had a really good credit, and so I was able to get a really good credit score. So similarly, I took the same strategy and I started copying other people that were financially independent and financially free, because I wanted to be financially free. And I knew that if I copied their habits, then I could be just like them, or I could get the same results. And this is why I've tried to copy the habits of like Warren Buffett and Dave Ramsey and some of these other people that you may know about. And then I read a bunch of books on this stuff, and that way you can get the same results if you just copy the habits. So the main point here is that you can't really cheat your way to financial independence, but you can copy your way there, and you're copying not the results, because you can't do that, but instead you're copying the habits of the people that are already there, and that way you can get there, and then it's a whole lot easier for you, because now you have like this roadmap, and all you've got to do is just follow the steps, and then eventually you'll get there. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the steps that I copied, or the steps that I took, which are millionaire steps, because they're all from millionaires. And these steps help me to become financially free, and you can use the steps to achieve financial freedom as well. And now, I just said that I was financially free, and so yes, I'm financially free, kinda, almost there, just right about 30K short, but it shouldn't be much longer. And so I own everything, I don't have any debt, I've got my retirement laid out, and so I'm speaking it into being, and in just a couple of weeks, I should be 100% financially free, and not just kind of financially free. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Eann, and on this channel, I talk about ways to make money, ways to save money, ways to invest your money. I talk about bank accounts, credit cards, just about everything to do with personal finance. So if you like these videos, if you like these types of topics, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's 100% free, won't cost you anything. Also, be sure to subscribe with the notifications on. That way, you won't miss the updates of when I post new videos on the channel. If you guys ever want to talk to me one-on-one about this, or just about anything else that I talk about here on the channel, you can message me on Instagram. The link is down below. But with that said, let's get back into the millionaire habits that you should develop if you want to be financially free. So the first habit is learning to ignore the naysayers and believing in yourself. And I know this sounds easy, but scientists have said that to erase one negative thought, you need at least 3 positive thoughts. And this can go up to as much as 17, depending on who you are. So for example, let's say you're having a birthday party for yourself, and you've invited all your family and friends, and everyone shows up and you're having the time of your life, and then you realize that one person who is very close to you didn't show up for your birthday party. And so although you're having a positive experience where you're at this birthday party, you're having fun, because of this one negative thing, it's weighing down on your mind, and you can't help but to either remember or to stop thinking about this one person that didn't show up, which is a negative feeling. And so based on the 3-to-1 positivity ratio, you need 3 positive things to outweigh this one negative. So similarly, if you come across one naysayer per day and you don't have 3 plus positives in that day, then that one naysayer is going to weigh your mind down and it's kind of going to affect you negatively. So what you want to do here is you want to ensure that every single day you have 3 positives, and this can be really easy, although your days may be unpredictable. So for example, you could just simply get like a journal and you could list 3 positive things for that day, or more if you can. And for example, one could be like, I made X amount of money today. And then the second one could be, I paid down X amount of money on my mortgage today. And then the third one could be, I got closer to closing this deal, or I closed this very important deal today. And so even though you've had one naysayer today, you've had 3 plus positive experience or outcomes in that day. And that way it kind of balances out and you're not being held down by this one naysayer. And this way you don't stop believing in yourself. Now, the second habit that you need to develop is you want to always treat everything like you're doing it or as if it's the first time you're doing it. And so there's a concept where they say you should do the job as if the boss is always watching, meaning that you're always giving 100%. And if you think about this, right? If you have a job right now, more than likely you weren't forced to take that job. Nobody held a gun to your head and say, hey, take this job and work here. Most likely you applied for the job, you showed up to the interview, you told them how good you were and why they should employ you over all the other candidates, and then you showed up to work on your very first day looking fresh, crisp, and clean. You give it your best, you gave it 100%, and then after a month you were still giving it 100%, but then after a year you kind of started to slack off, probably got a bit lazy after 2 years, and now you hate the job, and so you're not treating every day like it's your first day. So the main point is, don't do things half-assed, like just do it 100%, give it 100%. Like if you're going to the gym, don't skip reps. If you're gonna work out, don't skip corners. If it's your personal finances, don't shortchange yourself. Just do everything like it's the first day when you were hyped up about doing it, and make it a habit to treat everything like you're doing it for the first time, or it's the first day doing it. And if you're not gonna do it that way, then just don't do it at all. So if it's day 1 of paying off debt by day 100, you should be treating it as if it's day 1. You should still feel the same way, and you should still have the same tenacity as time goes by. Now, the next habit is never take rejection personally. And also, if you ever get rejected in anything that you're doing, don't bring it to the next person or the next potential experience. So for example, you apply for a credit card because you want to improve your credit score and you get denied. Now, that's okay, but don't say, well, I got denied for this credit card, so maybe the next bank or the next credit card company I go to is more than likely going to decline me as well. Don't bring that negative experience to the next experience. And another example is maybe you applied for some job, right? And you were thinking that you're really qualified for this job, you really wanted the job, you showed up to the interview, you gave it your all, you gave it your best, you think that you actually got the job, and then they called you and they said, hey, you know what? We're gonna pursue other people or other candidates. And now you're taking it personally, but you shouldn't, because guess what? You'll still be able to go and apply for another job. You'll still get another interview. You can still give that interview 100%. You can show up, you can make the best of it, and you can eventually land another job which will pay you the same amount of money or even more. So develop the habit of not taking rejection personally, and also not bringing rejection from one experience to another. Now, the next habit that you want to develop is you want to avoid making yourself really busy, and making yourself really busy with things that are actually getting you nowhere. So for example, let's say you're running a marathon. You're running and you're actually moving from one location to another. But if you're on a treadmill and you're running, then yes, you're running, you're burning the same amount of calories, you're sweating just the same, your heart is racing just the same, but you're not actually going anywhere. So it's like you've got this schedule and you've got this long list of things that you're going to be doing every single day. But when you look at it, these things are just making you really busy every single day, where they're not actually getting you towards your goal. And you're just wasting time making yourself busy with things that actually aren't going to take you to where you want to go. So here you want to implement the rule of 80-20. And basically, this is a rule that says that 80% of the results are coming from 20% of the work. So what you want to do is you want to figure out what 20% of your efforts are giving you results, and then you want to focus all your time or most of your time in doing that small 20%, as that's actually going to get you you the results. And this way, you don't just fill your schedule up every single day with a bunch of things and make yourself extremely busy while these things are actually not getting you anywhere. So think about all the tasks that will get you the biggest return and then focus on those. Now, finally, you want to ask yourself why 7 times. And this is because if this is a goal to get you to financial independence, it's got to be more than just a surface level question and answer. So for example, you decide to start saving and you're going to be saving $1,000 every single week. And you know that you want to save yourself $1,000 every single week because that's going to be $52,000 in a year. And you can put that in, let's say, a retirement account. But then you've got to ask yourself, why a second time? Why do I want to put this $52,000 in a retirement account? And then the answer to that is, well, I'm going to be 65 years old one day and I don't want to be broke or struggling when I get there. And so you ask yourself, why do you want to have this retirement account? And then you keep asking yourself why 7 times. And the entire point of doing this is that there's going to be one day or 1 week when you either don't want to save that $1,000 or you think you can't, or you're making excuses. Maybe your coworker just bought a really nice car and you're thinking that you deserve to buy a new car and you want to break out of the habit of saving that $1,000 per week. But because you asked yourself why 7 times, you no longer have just one reason to save this money every single week. Now you have 7 reasons, and there are 7 really good reasons. And these 7 reasons take you to the end goal, which is the bigger picture. And so every time you try to question why you're doing something, immediately you have 7 really good reasons as to why you're doing it. And that way you won't want to break the habit of saving or whatever you're working on to get to that goal that you're trying to get to. So if you copy these habits, the chances of you becoming financially free are going to be a lot more than if you were to just do what the average person is doing right now. And these may sound really easy, but once you actually get into it and you start doing this stuff, you'll realize that this stuff is actually not easy, at least not at first. But these are millionaire habits that have helped me to become financially free, or almost there. And I'm sure that these will also help you to become financially free if you actually use them. So hopefully this video is able to help you with habits that you can develop or habits that you can just copy that will make you financially free. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. All the best. If you like the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe with the notifications on, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one.